So good evening and welcome to the penultimate Donny Chain Gang of 2021. Can you believe how time has flown? My name's Matt Payne. I'm here live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, and we've got a whole host of great riders joining us for the WOWDCG, the Women's Only Wednesday Donny Chain Gang. Welcome everybody. If you've been before, you'll know exactly what's going to happen. If you haven't, it's really, really simple. The Chain Gang's a round workout. At some point during the ride, our ride leader will shout the trigger, which is go, go, go. It will appear on everybody's message board. At that point, it's all about who can get first across the finish line. Now, tonight is going to be a crit, and it means that our red beacon, our sweeper, is going to be able to sweep up the riders and pick them up on the way round. And got to say a massive thank you to Chloe, who's doing our red beacon. Let's join, first of all, the riders on the start line, because the message board is already busy down there. You can see over on the side the riders just lining up, and at the moment big blocks of text coming in. That will shrink down as we go into the ride, as everybody starts to struggle to breathe, type and tune in. So let's jump across and join Emma, who is down on the start line in her Downey Cycling coaching kits. Our yellow beacon. Emma, how are you doing?
Good evening, Matthew. I'm really good tonight. Thank you very much.
Oh, Matthew, does this mean we're going all posh now that I'm back in the studio instead of Matt when I was actually riding the bike?
Yeah, you're back where you belong. I'm feeling much better tonight on this bike, spinning my legs.
Yes, how was the piano playing last night on the multiple screens?
Oh my goodness, I don't know how you talk and press all the buttons at the same time. Pressing the buttons was the easy bit. Trying to remember to speak was the challenge.
Well, next time I might just let you have the other 50% of the screens which we switched off then, if you were finding it easy, because I certainly enjoyed the commentary. I'm not sure that my legs enjoyed the riding so much, but I've got to say a massive thank you to all of our beacons, red and yellow, do an amazing job. Now, tonight we are on the WOWDCG, the last one of 2021. We do run, of course, all the way through into April for 2022. Just give us a quick heads up of what you want from people tonight in terms of the ride.
So we will roll out tonight as normal, around 2 watts per kilo to make sure we've got the group off the line. We've got a 2.5k lead in, followed by 12 laps of the LaGuardia loop reverse. So follow the instructions on the screen. We will do a slow ramp up like normal, and until the go, go, go. But obviously, as Miss Cookie has just reminded me, when I say ho, 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 that's competition time, not everybody go, go, go. So we have a competition running tonight as well, Matthew.
Indeed we do, and we'll run into more details of that. So Emma is going to be putting the release. If you hit the buttons at the right time, then you're going to be needing to text the message board. So if you're on the ride tonight, we have a pair of custom Oakleys, courtesy of 1080, Ian Taylor and 1080 doing an amazing job of stitching together the 12 DCGs of Christmas. Emma, you're going to be typing the words ho 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 DCG on the screen at some point, and when you do that, that means that they need to do that, put the name behind it, so it'll be, in my case, ho 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 DCG Matt Payne, not that I'm eligible, and the fastest one, the first one up on the screen that shows on my screens, is going to be the winner. If need be, we'll play it back and get it on a photo finish. So the details will be out tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. With a minute to go, Em, we're going to let you go breathe the troops. We're going to go head out onto the course. Enjoy yourself out there somewhere along the lines, and good luck.
Thank you. See you later.
So, big thanks to Emma for joining us, just getting warmed up. As you can see, we're in New York. We're at the LaGuardia Loop Reverse. The lead-in is 2.5k long. So 2.5k long for the lead-in. Takes us around onto the circuit in the clockwise direction. We have 12 laps of 2.8k. That totals 33.6, which means we finish at the New York Sprint Arch at 36.1. 36.1 is the key number tonight. There's then a warm down to the blue banner, where everybody usually compares notes to why they weren't first over the line. Lots of elevation tonight. It doesn't look like you could put much in there, but it is going to be tough stuff out there because the course itself has a lot of elevation. And if we jump across to where our red beacon Chloe Gagan and our yellow beacon Emma is going to be dealing with, courtesy of fellow viewer, you can see as the riders go off from the line that it is going to be tough stuff, because out on that course you can see that we have what is a real tough circuit. There is virtually no flat on this circuit whatsoever, and that makes a huge difference when our riders are out on the course, because they have to try and stay together as a group. This is really, really difficult. I'm going to say a massive thank you to fellow viewer for all of their support over the past 18 months. Looking forward to working with them again in 2022. Don't forget, go on there, grab yourself a pro subscription, and you can get all of the best stats known to man. It's still useful even if you haven't got that subscription, but that extra level is absolutely amazing. Our riders starting to head out from the line at the moment, out on circuit, as you can see across there. Now, for those people who maybe are unfamiliar with Zwift, and that is a number of people watching, I'm sure, won't have seen this before, let's drop you in some stats up onto the screen. So, as you can see on the screen, we have a whole head-up display, and our riders get pretty much the same information that we're getting. So at the moment, we're sitting in with Emma, and this is our rider who rides for the AEO squad with the yellow beacon above her. As you can see, just going in and past with that yellow chevron up over her head. Now, the top left-hand side of the screen, in the blue, up there, watts, critical number, how much power that is being produced. Then, heart rate, currently 134 beats per minute. I tend to sort of be able to go pop at this point, but everybody's heart rate is different. We may be playing heart rate bingo later. Revs per minute, how many pedal cadence, how many revs in the pedals. Going round, generally sitting higher is smoother. Sometimes you see people on big power just prior to sprinting, big numbers in terms of power, but with a low rev power to putting in a big sprint. So it just depends on people's styles. In the middle, in the white, right over the centre of the screen, you'll see at the moment the rider's doing 40 kph, near enough, with 1.1k already covered. Remember, it's a 2.5 kilometre lead in. And in the centre, 12 metres of climbing already ascended on this circuit. It's actually a really hilly crit circuit. We weren't going to be giving the WOWDCG a nice, easy, flat crit. We'd save that for the standard DCG, which went around Neokio with a lot less climbing. But because we know that the women's DCG is really well behaved with everybody sitting on top of that yellow beacon, then the aim of that means that we can go with these circuits that basically are just that little bit tougher. 2 minutes 30 in already, and 1.5k covered. Now, top right-hand side of the screen, just over from that information, you'll see our map at the moment showing it in a 3D view. We can zoom it across into a 2D version. Very handy for seeing just where those groups break up. What we're looking for is one blob, yellow beacon, red beacon, and all of the riders all together in a small group. And that's what we've got. And that's exactly what we need to have. So that is absolutely spot on. Across the middle of the screen, you'll see all the writing across there. You just better be able to focus on that. It's basically Emma's messages. Everybody else's messages, well, they come up on the right-hand side. And down that right-hand side, right over on the far side of the screen, you'll see that the rider we're featuring is in blue. And that is Emily. Yeah, just chasing Emma. So the rider in blue is Emma there. And the big thumb is a ride-on. So if we drop a ride-on, which all of our riders can do, you'll see there's a thumbs up, goes up above the beacon, and that is to say, well done, great stuff. Now, the group are working its way up and around circuit. They're going to be heading in towards the green banner. We're just going to drop it into 3D view on the map, and you can see as we take a look that they're going to be coming in now. The trigger point, the warning point that we're going to be heading in to that sprint line, and that is actually on the side of the road, on the right-hand side of the road, and it's a green strip. The finish line will be here in 12 full laps time. So 12 full laps time, and it will be going underneath this archway, as you can see Emma about to do. Importantly, all the way across the bottom of the screen, everybody who helps make the chain gang happen. Without the support of these guys, it doesn't happen. They support the DCG gang. They support our riders. And if you're a member of the DCG gang, you get the links to all of the events direct. You don't need to register, so part of the Supporters Club's benefits is that you get those links. You also get discounts from Halo, OTE, Veloskin, 1080, also from the team at Gritty and from the guys at Grand Tour Coffee. I've already got my double full fuel, full fat, fully leaded double day espresso on the go already, as well as big bottle of hydro tabs to keep the old throat going all the way through. So don't forget to support the people who support your sport. They're down on your screen. We're going to jump in with the ride, and as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, just dropping off there the screen showing that basically pretty much everybody is together. So without further ado, let's jump in to the ride here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. So the group working well together at the moment, and you can just see Emma putting up great thanks there. The blob is what we refer to as the peloton. The more blobby and sticky it is, the more gooey and cohesive, the less likely it is to get washed out for it to become a long streak. If it starts getting drippy, losing bits off the end, then we end up in trouble. Looks like issues for Miss Cookie just at the side of the road now. Sarah needs to jump out of the game and jump back in again. The advantages of having a late join means that the best way, if you have bike issues in that first half an hour, if you're running late on the motorway, Steph, I hope you're going to make it on time, then the way to deal with that is to jump out and join on late, because that allows you to jump back into the group. All you need to make sure you do is doing about 2 watts giver. So at the moment, the group running along. Now, one of the key things on Zwift is that the draft is really realistic. If you've been out and riding, you'll know that the key thing when you're riding on a group, in a big group, you've got to stay in that group. You've got to stay in touch with the riders. If you're sat at the front, you're going to be working really hard. The numbers for the riders on the very front of the group are going to be much bigger than the riders at the back. So we go up towards the front of the group here, and we're going to see the riders sitting on the front, sitting around about the 2.2s to 2.5s as they come rolling through. If we drop down into the middle or towards the back of the bunch, you're going to see a lot more in terms of 2s and similar. Just seeing Miss Cookie able to rejoin. She's jumping back in. You've got to be going in, though. I think a jump out and a jump back in at the moment. She's going to be quickly in with that pack. She'll soon be in with the group. But a jump out and a jump in of with a rejoin is the only way to do it, to get back into the gang. You don't want to be joining further back, so you've got to literally leave the event and come back in again. So just riding in with Joanne Lee, one of our regulars on the chain gang, and one of our regular riders. Remember, we are going to be keeping an eye out for when our yellow beacon calls the HoHoHo DCG. The 12 DCGs of Christmas are the key part of the sponsorship from our team at 1080. They are absolutely top quality supporters. They make the gang happen. They look after all of our riders. The members of the DCG gang, in fact, they actually get an extra 10% over and above the already discounted prices at the Icon dealer based in Norwich in Norfolk. It's actually become a bit of a tourist destination. So a massive thank you to Ian. Now remember, key things for the riders to remember. Once the message board from Emma says the words HoHoHo DCG, our riders have to type HoHoHo DCG with their name behind it. So that could be, in my case, HoHoHo DCG Matt Payne. The first ones that we see will be key. So it pays to be in the pack, in the group. I'm sure our yellow beacon will work till everybody's in the game before calling. So I think our run is fairly safe at the moment. There's Miss Cookie's going to jump out and jump back in again. She's got quite a bit of time to do that. It's actually a half hour at the end now. Coming around to complete lap 1 of 12 laps here tonight. And the riders are holding the group together. Now, one of the reasons we want the riders to be able to do this, one of the reasons it's so key to keep that pack, and you can see that is a proper blob shape, is that by doing so, what you enable the riders to do is to work together as a group, to be able to hold the pack together, not to lose the shape of the riders as you go in and through, and to be able to ensure that everybody gets to work. If you work together, you're going to pull riders back. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of being yellow beacon on the stand of the Open DCG. for all riders, and that was a course which very clearly showed it doesn't matter how fast you are. We had 2 riders going clear on the big climb, led by Kieran Brown, who had a fair gap at the top, but the groups that formed behind pulled back, and in fact we had 2 main groups chasing. We had the leaders group chasing down Kieran, and he was absorbed into that, and it did come down to a late sprint into the village that saw the win there for Dale. And then there was the second group on the road, and Millie Skinhill will know the group well because AD Dan Shady, of course, known for pressing the wrong buttons for Millie as her DS Director Sportif at times, is definitely going to know that that second group that I was in, we got bigger and bigger, and we actually closed that gap down as well, and that meant that we could really motor on. It makes a huge difference, and this course with the roller coasters, it's key to get in and stay in there. So let's have a little hunt through. Looks like we've got Dave Spencer back in the gang once again with us. Just tucked over on the far side in the orange. Emma Dooley in the squad as well. Good to see Emma back with us. Emma riding in the yellow and black there with the hill climb gloves. Joe Munden is in here now. Joe is one of our big sprinters. A great rider on the mountain bike, and also great road rider. Good to see Joe in there. Joe in that cryogen kit. Let's have a little check through who else we've got in here. We've got Brooks back with us as well. So Karen Brooks back on the gang now. Karen riding on a Tron bike here. That's the Swift Concept, on the Swift Concept bike. The fastest all-round bike, and actually pretty good choice on this course today because of the roller coasters. New rider to the chain gang tonight. Welcome Louise Wainwright. Lou running in the Training Peaks kit there, and not a new rider to Zwift, but a relatively new rider overall. Definitely not a new rider to competition, and somebody the pleasure of seeing riding regularly. A rider who used to ride the Tour Series for the Shoots Fellow squad, and a rider who now competes on cyclocross as well as on the mountain bike. So definitely a speedy rider when it comes to getting this pace down. And the competition's gone. Oh, that's going to go to a photo finish. Somebody has just won 200 or so pounds worth of custom Oakleys. We knew it was going to be fast the moment that Emma hit the board, and now I think, and this is subject to verification, that it is going to go probably to Becky Porter-James. We think it's Becky Porter-James. I'm not going to guarantee that, Becky, so hold your breath. Subject to confirmation by the commissaire squad, it should be Becky Porter-James who got that. We'll get confirmation of that on the way through. At the moment, I think one or two people just missing the buttons on the way through the women's ride incredibly quick. Definitely going to call in the conversation, not wrong there, as we head around, because that was incredibly fast. One of the reasons we wanted to make sure that we got a set of the Opens going out on tonight's competition, and that is really, really simple, because we really were wanting to make sure we said thank you to the riders who support the WOWDCG. So many riders moving from the WOWDCG, joining us on the Open DCG as well. Done the chain gang, and great to see so many women on there. Looks like Miss Cookie tucked in, Chloe Gagan in there as well. So Cookie just losing contact a touch here. So just needed to push on to the back of the group. If you lose that 6 metre gap, you're in trouble. You've got to squeeze in. The best place to be is in yellow. If you sit on the back, you play that whip that you get, that whip effect, and you just see Chloe Gagan just dropping to give a little bit of assistance there. If you are the last rider in the group, you are going to be in trouble. That's why we choose strong, because Chloe Gagan actually one of our really strong riders for the Aeonian squad, and Chloe was regular on the Donny Chain Gang and signed up for the Aeonians as well. Great to see on there, and the key is when you hit those hills, when you hit the roller coasters, if you push through the hill, you'll distance the riders at the back. So if you're on the front, you need to ease off in the hills. If you're a rider at the back, you need to push into the hill. and over the top of it. So the front needs to go easy on the hills and just hold the pace on the downhills. And you can see it starts to get. We are 8.3k into the 36k. But really key. And it's always interesting as people try and type now. Good to see we have got on board Amy Young with us here. So Amy, one of our new riders onto the Donny Chain Gang. Welcome to the Chain Gang, Amy. Amy, the familiar figure of Amy, if you've seen the adverts for Zwift with the female rider on the Wahoo bike, well, that's Amy in real life, and the avatar looks very, very similar indeed. Amy, of course, a regular rider who we see in action and riding with the Gorilla squad as well, and riding with David Miller's squad. So great to see that Amy is with us. Amy, enjoy. Don't forget the moment that that button is pressed, the trigger release is sent by our yellow beacons. Make sure that you get in there, but great riding at the moment. Don't let me distract you either. Never good news. Still in time to squeeze on now. Spencer at the moment just having to squeeze to get back onto the back of the pack. Spencer at the back, so Gagan just having to put a shout out. Miss Cookie, looks like we're going to find a bus forming here. We've got Spencer, Cookie and Gagan just at the back. We always call the Gruppetto, which is the Red Beacon group, the Red Bus, mostly because it has a habit of serving drinks, cakes and similar. Now Kearney with us here, next rider who's just been distanced off the back of this group. And Kearney needs to just push on here, but now Becky Kearney, another of the AEO squad, the AEO squad, #1 women's squad when it comes to across all categories. And just having to push in. You can see those numbers suddenly got to about 6 watts per kilo there. As she's got to squeeze in. You've got to stay glued to the wheels. And good to see Chloe back there helping Diane Spencer, and Miss Cookie just in front, so that's going to form a really nice bus. Kearney still trying to make contact. You see Spencer and Gagan. If these three work together, they're going to really tick those laps off very quickly indeed. Kearney going to be making contact. Here comes the main group coming through, keeping that watts per kilo smooth, and Kearney quickly into the back of the pack. Now let's have a little more of a run around. We've got this thing is going to be Julie Scales. It is so good to have Julie back in the group. Yeah, Becca just losing concentration, very dangerous on the way through. Looks like our yellow beacon riding well. In fact, without further ado, let's have a little chat with our yellow beacon. Emma, how are you doing out there?
I think we're doing quite well in New York at the moment.
I thought I'd give you absolutely no notice before jumping to you, just like you do to me. Now I can get my revenge. I'll teach you yesterday. Group's working really well. Just seen Becky Kearney, one of your teammates on the AEO squad, just get distanced. Just a little bit of inattention, and the group comes through, doesn't it? The pack draft is so quick. It is just like real life in a road race. You get distanced, you're in trouble.
It is, and this course is really rolling, Matt. And if you get distance slightly on and up, once the pack goes over the top and starts to descend, the pace picks up so quickly that it makes that lone chasers work really hard. The best place in this draft is right in the middle of the bunch, and try and stay there.
Yep, definitely, and you can see the yellow beacon, your beacon sitting right in there as we go underneath the start-finish line of the lap. Once again, we're 18 minutes in, 10.8k in. Remember, we've got, of course, 36.1k, I think it is from memory, to get over the line. The pace just ticking up. You can just see each time we go through the confetti coming down, and it is definitely pretty rapid. Our group behind, great to see the red bus. This group already are doing exactly what we love from the Chain Gang. You can just see them rotating around. You've got Miss Cookie in there, really regular rider on the Chain Gang, who's in the group in the blue. We've got Chloe Gagan, experienced rider and racer, your teammate. And we've got Dan Spencer, another of our newer riders, again, just pushing on as that group. And they're all sticking together, and they're going to go around much quicker because of it.
They are. And that's the great value of having a red beacon. A, to pull people back into the group when they drop back, but B, to form that little bus. And it makes it a really social event with the red bus, actually. I quite like riding with red.
Yeah, and it's a great way to do recovery as well, isn't it, as well? Because if you jump on and you get in and just see it, I think Steph Rook just about to join midway through. I suspect she's going to be in your group there. So at the moment, it looks like Steph joining. If you do have a recovery day, you have an easy day, if you're not feeling up to playing silly what's this on the front, jump in with red. That's the whole point of it. There is something for everybody.
Oh, completely. And it makes the chain gang something for everybody. Because, you know, the Red Beacon on the Tuesday and Thursday rides goes exactly the same pace as the Red Beacon on the Women's Wednesdays. So there's opportunity to join in and have a social ride rather than doing a recovery spin or just because you want an easier ride on your own.
Yeah, definitely, and great to see that bus is working. We're going to jump back up with you. We've got Amy Young in the group, somebody who a lot of people will be familiar with because she's the rider who's on that Wahoo bike on the Zwift advert. As well, of course, as being a regular rider and group leader as well. So good to have Amy with us. Certainly seems to be riding very comfortably in that group, not doing too much work. Get distracted every now and then, but that's so easy to do, isn't it, when you're in the pack?
Well, it is, and I tell you what, it's lovely to see we've got new riders in here tonight, not just Amy. We've got returning riders who we've not seen this winter yet. Notice Emily Bridson is in here. She rode with us last winter, and I think tonight's her first return back to the chain gang. So it's great that people are joining us regularly and that other people are fitting us in when they can and joining us for Christmas in New York.
Definitely, and it is the penultimate one of 2021 in terms of chain gangs. We've got the DCG, the end the year on high, up the Vonto tomorrow, so not the easiest of rides tomorrow. In fact, I'm very glad I'm behind the mic and not riding that one. I don't know whether you've got a rest day plan, but I'm not sure I'll be playing that, but it gets a big following, doesn't it? And always entertaining. But as we move into 2022, lots more Women's Only Wednesdays on the way through.
Yeah, so whilst you might be finishing the year on a high tomorrow, I think whatever the weather, I'm going to go outdoors and find some mud. So, but we do have Women's Only Wednesdays planned right the way through the spring. So right the way through the rest of the winter and into the spring. I think we've got dates in right the way through to the end of March or even the end of April.
Brilliant. We're all the way through to April, so that's great to hear. Well, we're going to let you get back to that because I think we've just pushed your heart rate up to about 135 there by the look of it. The 22nd time at the moment, the fastest time through that sprint, that is going to be Spencer. Alison Kinlock, a fellow cyclocross rider, so telling you, you won't have to look hard for mud. I don't think she's wrong at all. So I'm going to let you get on. Hopefully we'll catch up with you post-ride because with 13.5k under the clock, I can't imagine we're going to get too many more chances to get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
So great to catch up with Emma out there on the chain gang. Our riders coming back down in again towards the green banner. Has come in towards that sprint banner. We're now at 13.5k as we go in underneath the clock. This group is riding so well at the moment. We've got Alex Morris in here. Good to see Alex back with us again. Another of our regular riders riding in that Academy jersey there. And great to see she's riding strongly. Eve Roberts, regular competitor at cyclocross, as well as a mountain bike rider. And Eve, good to have you back on the chain gang once again, riding that Revolution jersey. Emma Dooley's in with us. Becky Porter-James, well, we've managed to catch up with the rider who I think, subject to confirmation, has won herself some Oakley. So you'll be able to trade in those really naff old style glasses that you've got on your avatar for a set of shiny new Oakleys in any style you want in the custom. The 1080 dealers, the Icon Oakley dealers is 1080 looking after our riders, and you'll be getting an email if that is the case. We'll be watching it back and making sure we get some confirmation of that. Emily Britton, as we said, in the bunch here tonight. Emily, a really strong rider, a rider who rides well off-road, on-road, rides enduro, rides mountain bike, seen her in action at the road races, real fast rider. Good to see we've got Pip Morn in here. I think we've got Karen Brooke. Steph Rook has made it. Looks like Maz Heffron in here. Good to see Maz back in with us once again. Julie Scales in here. Pip Morn just up on the front of the gang here. and Pip just rolling off that front line. The riders come round, so Hawkins is in here, so call now for 3 watts per kilo coming out. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting, so 3 watts per kilo maximum. That makes life much more difficult at the back of the group, because you're going to start to see people on the front who are feeling strong enough to hold 3 watts per kilo start to string things along. But this is where, if you've been finding the pace a little bit tough, that call could be demoralising. The answer is push, squeeze on, guys. Get squeezed into that group. You see, this is the back of the pack. Imagine it's a devil take the hindmost. The back of this group here is where you want to be. Just seeing Eve Roberts squeezing into the back of the pack there. Then looks to me like just at the back, we're going to see. I think that's doing just pushing on. So the aim here just to keep squeezing as the riders go in. Remember, 3 watts per kilo is the call, and that's what we're looking for these riders to do. Now, big strong push up on to the front here by Joe Munden. Just going to drop back a touch for a little while, just going back to our red beacon group. Looks like Miss Cookie flexing the legs a little. She goes through Julie Scales on the front, 2.8 watts per kilo. Let's get that drone cam up in the air once again as we roll our way around. You can just see, if we take a little bit of a look back, it is a real churn on the front of the group. Just like you get in real life, that's what you get in Zwift. Each of these riders taking a turn on the front, but then the stronger riders just squeezing through as they come through with that draft. It then get that headwind, and it starts to take effect as they come around here in Central Park in New York on Zwift, on the Donny Chain Gang, the WOWDCG, all part of the Donny Chain Gang. Remember, tomorrow is the very final Donny Chain Gang of 2021, and that is going to be on the Zwift. It's Road to the Sky is the route. We're going to be going all the way out and up with Russ Downing leading our riders into the trigger point, the 3 Gs, the 3 Os, the trigger point for our riders when they head out around the circuit, and the limiter is off up to that point. Russ will be right at the front of affairs, making sure he's there, although quite often it is a lot easier to control the group from the back because it's something riding up into the distance. Got to say a massive thank you to Russ, our Yellow Beacon and co-founder with me of the whole lot. It was Russ's bright idea to put it on to Zwift, and we've worked together to make what has been an amazing community. So if you are part of that Donny Chain Gang community, whether you're on Facebook or riding, dropping a note, one of our regulars, one of our key supporters in terms of the DCG gang, or one of our fantastic sponsors and supporters, so everybody from the Team Colin Valley Cycleways, the gang at Schwabi, of course, to Gritty, to Nonners, of course, to 1080, who are sponsoring this, Velaskin, OTE, as well as Halo, and the squad at Velvura, and of course Zwift for all of their support, and massive thank you. Don't forget, we have got some great riding to come up, lots of different routes coming in. I know where we're heading throughout January, and it looks absolutely amazing. Some great rides, some great routes, not just on the DCG, the Open DCG, but also on the WOW DCG as well. The running's only Wednesday. This pace going up, some snacks being called for in the red bus. Just seeing Becky Porter-James. Come on, Becky, got to squeeze in that gap. If that gap goes, you're in trouble. And it's Becky Porter-James going to be the first of the riders who is going to fall a victim to them. Oh, a little bit of a leg stretch here. Got the deep rims on, and the rider in that ruler kit just squeezes back in. Can't afford to relax for a second. Now that means that you see Becky just going through to the front, and every time that happens, it does the damage down. Cindy going here, Cindy, another of the Aeonian squad, this time with the black helmet riding on that trek with deeper rims, and to be honest, that'd be something very similar to my choice on this. I'd be looking for something that rolls fast. Not sure I'd have gone for the full-on disc. It is the one that we recommend, and it is mathematically the fastest of the setups, is to have a disc wheel rear and an aero front wheel. I'm not sure that would be my choice as you come around here, just because I know I'm going to be alright in the fast sections and be on the hilly bits. Now, interesting to see Man's gone for the Svel. This is one of the fastest bike setups, and that setup is very, very similar to the one that's been ridden by a Yellow Beacon coming around sight. You see the two backs which are interchangeable. The only difference is that disc wheel on the back wheel set. being ridden by Yellow Beacon, just a little bit quicker, a little bit faster as the Yellow Beacon now calls for 3.5 watts per kilo. 3.5 watts per kilo being called for now. Millie Skinner from the finish line racing. What is the Pro Noctis? Heidi Kiartson racing at sea. The rider on the red chili bikes in real life, the number 1 team in the UK, doing the business. And Millie, as you can see on the same Chevrolet frame. And guess what? Disc wheel on the back, going for the speed. You see Millie's got his sprint legs on. He has some very, very fast riders. Cookies coming 3.5 minutes pies. Matt's yes, definitely lots and plentiful, please. Now, one rider who we definitely have to watch out for is Tracy Seeley. Tracy has become a regular. Apparently, she was bullied into joining the chain gang racing. Can't condone that kind of behaviour, but bullying people onto the chain gang. Tracy has become one of the riders who we know is going to be pushing a new FTP. Functional threshold power numbers every time she comes in now. Just seeing a couple of riders going off the back as Tracy comes through here, because we're just seeing Dooley and Porter James in trouble again. Too busy laughing at the comment about 3.5 watts per kilo, that's for sure now. They've got to keep squeezing on here. You can't let that gap go. Come on, Becky. Keep squeezing. You've got to push on to the back. There's lots of room on the party bus. I think Chloe Gagan just tempting our riders at the moment. And if we look back from our group, I think that gap has gone here. Porter James dropping to 1.7 and going to be seeing that bus that's going to take a massive kick. Looks like Miss Cookie offering pancakes on the way through as well. Some looks like great stuff on the bus near the back as Kinlock sat in with this group at the moment. Alison Kinlock in the black specialised in the raffle kit. This group getting quicker and quicker each time they come through the sprint line. Expect to see more personal bests here. There we go. We're just seeing confetti raining down on that group as they go through once again. Remember, this sprint line is key as our riders come through. We'll be right to get our finishing line result for that fastest sprint time at the moment. It is Britton who's got that 19-second time. You just see it creeps up lap after lap after lap on the circuit with the riders riding really well now. Looks like Emma's gone to the front and they're only doing about 3.3 watts per kilo. All of a sudden their teammate Kearney's up here. We can see some team tactics. Emma riding in that downwind cycling kit at the moment there. So the downwind cycling coaching works kit. And Dean and Ross and all the team of coaches, including Joe Tinley and Kokos on the downwind cycling all in there now. Working the way in and through now. Skinner comes up on to the front in that same kit. Another down cycling coached riders, and the pace is starting to take its toll as we're starting to see a rider after rider getting dispatched off the back. Just seeing Julie Scales in trouble at the moment. Scales has got Dooley behind her, so it looks like Porter James has gone. Porter James is definitely out of the picture. Then Dooley now in trouble. Scales in trouble. The little bit of extra pace being added once you get people up over that threshold power, that point at which they can't hold on. The gap's open, and then it's about finding a group. So Scales has to decide: does she push? Does she continue to force the pace to get on to the back? Does she drop back and get some company? Dooley's only 4 seconds behind, and Dooley and Scales together would then be able to close, would have more chance of closing that gap down. Now Eva Roberts on the back of this group. The gaps are starting to open here, and just seeing a few people start to get in trouble. I think we're just seeing Joanne Lee starting to drift towards the back, and KG needs to push on here. So that's Karen who needs to push on. Karen G working hard here. Just seeing Roberts having to put nearly 5 watts per kilo to get back on. Lee should be able to take a little bit of a toe in through this. You've got to use these little bits of a climb to dig back in. Good to see Lou Wainwright still holding in this group well. 20k covered, 33 minutes into the group. Eve Roberts just getting dropped towards the back of this group, and once again the pressure of this beacon at the moment is applying. She's ratcheting up the power. She's saying to people, we need to sit that 3.5. And you can just see our yellow beacon at the moment is really starting to wind people up. That screen's being turned, the rack is being stretched, and we're seeing people popping off the back. So Scales at 14 seconds, Dooley at 22, so 14 seconds and 22 seconds to Dooley. The group at the moment still not shed anybody else at the moment. Are we going to see a ramp up? They're going to come up on a red beacon very shortly. So this is where things get interesting. If you're on the front of a group as you come up behind the rider, all of a sudden when you haven't had assistance when you're on the front, you're going to come up. So always pace. One of the key tactics if you're riding and you're doing a multi-lapper, when you are about to catch a group, get to the front and use that draft, because all of a sudden you're doing the turn on front and you get the draft as well. So as you can see, our riders are steadily working their way up towards the back. The red beacon group are going to see the yellow beacon group. If they press key number 6, they're going to see them in the rear view mirrors. That's quickly going to change as they come in towards that sprint line. So watch them come through. You can see the pace of that yellow beacon group. They will give some draft now to Gagan in that red beacon group behind. You've got to stay on the front. KG just a little bit in trouble here on the back. She's got to squeeze back into that group. And the go has gone. The go has gone, so the signal has gone. There are now no limits to the power that is allowed. You can go as fast as you want. This is all about getting over that finishing line first. And looks like Miss Cookie's had a pocket picked on the way through. All of a sudden, Kearney goes to, puts an 18 second. We go from 19.5 to 18.5 seconds just with the power of the go now. The back of this group is going to fracture. It's gone from one big blob. It went to one long drip. Now it is fracturing here. Who has got the pace to stay with the front? Kearney is leading this group out. You can see behind, though, there are 5 or 6 riders able sitting there. Tracy Seeley. Looks like we've got Joe Munden, Alison Kinlock, Alex Morris in there, Emily Britson, Skinner is in that group, Hawkins in that group as well. Just seeing, look at the power coming from Skinner on her way through here. So Skinner has gone absolutely rocketing through the group. She had to work hard. She was near the back of that group when it went, and behind are riders who were starting to definitely feeling the pace now. Young has made the group here. Taylor is in this group. Lee just distanced a little bit, as is Rourke. Then it's going to be Bratton, Brooks, Roberts, Mass Heveron, Pitmore, Lou Wainwright. Oh, there's some really good groups here, because this Morn, Wainwright, and KG, they are all really close together, and they could work well. Heffron in here, Brooks in here. Look at this group. This could get together. These riders start working as a pack. So that fracture, that kick went. Now 4 riders here. So Eve Roberts, Pitmore, Karen Brooks, along with Maz Heffron. This is a group of 4 riders in front of them. You can see Heffron going to be closing in on Bratton, on Lee, on Rourke. And they are the riders immediately behind. So we've got 3 riders behind our lead group. Then we have another group of 4 riders. That's 7. If those 7 can get themselves together, that is going to be a real Kirby fighting force who can work the way up there. Now Hawkins just starting to get distance over the top. Taylor's just about holding in here. Come on, Ruth. So Ruth Taylor on the back here, another regular mountain biker, cross rider, and Zwift rider as well. Someone we've seen in action on the DCG quite a few times now. She knows the score. She'll not want to let that gap go. Has she got anything left? It's Ruth Taylor just at the back of the pack, detached on her own. She's got to push. She's got to squeeze. She's got to get into the group. We jump in with Taylor. Taylor's going to make this junction. Here she goes in and through. And I think Becky Porter-Jay's just dead in the water there. That looked like a dropout to me, and that's bad news, because we're past that 30-minute mark, and we can jump back in again. Now in with our yellow beacon. Currently 169 beats per minute. We've got Hawkins in there. No, Hawkins. Let's get Joe Munden. Everybody's playing it carefully. Let's have a little bit of a look on the way through. Who can we get? Tracy Seeley. 190. Seeley, you need to be careful. 190 beats per minute at the moment from Tracy Seeley. Phillips on 177. Cindy go. Cindy's on 178. Looks like Catherine Adams doing another amazing ride here. Let's have a look at Millie Skinner, 176. Phillips is in here. Good to see that we've got Katie Phillips with us. Katie, another rider who we know is going to be in towards the kill. Got a really nice colour coordinate back as well. almost on a par with Nick Dorsey in the Open DCG. Nick Dorsey, of course, the best dressed man in cycling bar none. As we see Kate Foot's handy rider too, as all these riders on this blue bar has to be said. Won't want to be racing or riding against any of them when it comes to competition now. In the grey, just dropping off the back and squeezing through goes Brits in this group all together. Just seeing the yellow beacon start to put in a power up as we come in through the sprint. 26.6k on the clock, 36.1 on the way through, so just under 10. Just under 10 to go. That sprint time last time doing the damage. It's the fastest lap time. You can see not many people getting a new fastest time. As Kearney now has got a gap. Now can Kearney open this gap up? Can she take anybody with her? We like to see attacking riding. Let's get another ride on. Drop down there. There goes House. Knocks the other one into her back pocket there. So Kearney pushing hard here. She's got a little bit of a gap, but coming behind Alex Morris comes in. Morris is working to get that gap closed down. She's going to make the junction. As she hits that back wheel, looks like our Beacon's having none of this. They're going to be closing this down again. So 25.2k covered. This group is really squeezing on now, and it looks like Young just about holding the back. Hawkins has been detached now. Bridson's been detached as well. She's in the grey behind, as is Taylor. So they need to form a group of three here. Hawkins, Taylor and Bridson. If they get together, they will be able to work, and they are going to have to try and hold off the group with Lee, Rourke and Bratton, who are the three behind. They've got a little bit of a gap, but they're going to have to work together, or they will get swallowed up by that group behind. At the moment, though, our leaders back together again. Just see Kearney again. They're onto this climb, and Kearney starts to push the way up the climb here. So once onto the climb, Kearney's going again. And this Ionian squad are getting some attacking riders out there as they come up on to the climb. The chase being led behind by Alison Kinlock of the PH Mass squad. Then it's Tracy Seeley, followed by Joe Munden, Millie Skinner. Now it looks like Emma in there. Nobody been detached at the moment from that group. Everybody's holding the pace there. Phillips at the back. It's Hawkins, Bridson and Taylor who are the last of the casualties as they came in and through. This group now back together as they go over the top, and is that a counter-attack coming from Millie Skinner? So Skinner now goes over the top. Skinner leading this group out in that down cycling coaching kit. Up on the front, the group behind is working well here. They've got a push. They've really got to push here because they know they cannot let Millie Skinner get any ground at all as they go in over the top. It's Kinlock who's now leading through, then Phillips, everybody pushing, everybody squeezing here behind. Those groups are forming. Looks like the Beacon's going to be picking up Becky Porter-James on the way through, and you can just see. There you go. So Ruth Taylor's 70k this morning, maybe a step too. Yeah, might have been a bit optimistic with a WOWDCG in that evening. Miss Cookie does know Ruth, so it's not just total abuse, I have to say. So Phillips in there, Kearney in this lead group, Adams in there, Phillips, Skinner, Emma are yellow and Beacon as we come on the way through. Just as watching this group as they go in and along, and again nobody's attacking. They know there's plenty of distance to go here. I've got to agree with Ruth. We love to see all of our riders back on the DCG. Makes a huge difference. Great to see so many of our top flight riders in and having a dig at the WOWDCG. Now Kearney clearly looking strong, as is Skinner Maurice in here, and good to see a new rider in this group. That's Amy Young in the gang. Now Kearney is definitely going for sprint points on the way through. She's looking to get that time down. 18.26 that time. She would have been overtaken by Adams at an 18.38, which would have beaten her time. And Emma, so the top 3 times faster than any of the previous ones. Adams has gone through hard. Has she gone through too hard here? Because this group is now stretched out. Are we going to see an attack over the top here? Because we've got 2 riders who've got a little bit of a gap. Let's get up in the air here because looks like we're going to see a gap. They've got a gap now. Looks like the Beacon is going to have a little bit of a go here. And our Beacon is giving it some and got a gap now. Now Kearney's going to have to respond to this. Syndigo, there are two Aeonian riders that are behind at the moment. So you can see Kearney's now going to go on those wheels. And this is really doing some damage to the legs of the riders behind them. So Kearney's about to join the Beacon there as they come through. The Beacon's got to respond now, jump onto Kearney's wheel. Can they make these riders work for it on the way through? Morris is doing the chasing here. He's going to be pushing to get back in again. Tracy Seeley, though, the machine. They've already given out the Terminator nickname already once before to Maddie Smith, but I think this is our Terminator 2.0. That is something else again as she comes along. Puts the power down, closes the gap down, and all these riders now on the climb. Once again, this is at 7% now. Who's going to go for the kick? Who's got anything left in these legs? So we see the riders. Remember, they're currently about 15 seconds behind our Red Beacon group once again. So we're going to take a little bit of a look now. They've pulled that attack back. Those attackers now resting, taking a little bit of a breather. And going to be trying to drop that heart rate down. Let's have a little bit of a look. I'm not sure yet. Kearney's got heart rate monitor on the regular, so race on Zwift. And no, heart rate monitors makes a big difference. And you can just see Kearney 184 beats per minute on that attack. It looks like ever 167 after that attack. And they'll be aiming to get those heart rates down. Phillips at 160, Syndigo at 189. Dear me, there's some seriously high numbers in this game. Tracy Silky at 187, and they're just about to go through the Red Beacon group once again. So through they go. And you can see Miss Cookie, Becky Porter, James, along with Chloe just going through. So I'm not sure whether the bus handed out any goodies to the riders on the way through. Now, here we go. 29.3k in the clock and under those wheels. So where's the next attack going to go? Coming up to 30k. Remember, it's 36k in total. Our Beacon just keeping an eye on our riders as they go through the bus forming at the back. A little bit further back behind this group, but behind Adams, who's just rolling at the back. We've got to just drop back. I think Hawkins is going to be the next rider, actually technically on the road with Taylor Lee. And it's going to be Rourke, Bratton, Brooks, then Heffron just in that group. Then we're going to have Eve Roberts just a little bit further back. Lou Wainwright in that group behind. That certainly looks to me like that leading a group riding really strong up at the front. And we're going to see who's going to be taking this out in through that sprint line. These laps keep on ticking down here. And as they go in underneath at 30.2 at 2.8, I mean that 2 more laps left to go. Big attack with 2 laps to go. Kearney has gone hard on the way through here. She's going to take Skinner with her. She's not careful, but we've got 2 laps to go. 6k left to go. 2 laps left to go as they come in and under. I think somebody fractionally under that 36.1 as they go in. Let's watch how they go around here. Remember, it's going to be very, very fast indeed as they make the way around this turn here. So now these riders working well. Group come through now. Who has got a kick? Who's got something in the tank? Who wants to put the pressure on And for actually Spark, remember this is going to be tough stuff. 36 where we should be. Just do some quick maths on the way round. And just looks like we may have just lost the rider at the back of this group. Alison Kinlock has been detached here. So Kinlock hanging on in there, but now detached from the group. So Kinlock now distance, got a bit of a gap back to the riders behind, but Kinlock's not going to be able to get back in with the pack. Hawkins at 1:05 behind the group, and now just working to keep, looks like Kearney again going up on to the front. So this is Kearney, this is the front of the rider now. We're starting to lap a few other riders as well. This group working well, nobody wanting to take this on. They know that time is going to start running out. They maybe want to go for one more lap, but when they hit the line, that should be at the next line. Remember, we should be stopping about 36.1. We did the maths to work it out at. We'll see if that's going to be the case, because we should have 2.8 to go. We hit the line. Let's see if that's going to happen. So riders coming around the turn, they're going to see the line coming up. And as they hit the line this time, it is going to be 1 lap to go. When they hit the line this time, 1 lap to go. When they hit the line this time, we're going to be pretty much on the 36k mark. Just watching the gaps open as they come rattling through once again here. And really starting to push. Kinlock still only at 8 seconds. Nobody's gone. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go for our runs. They hit the line this time. It's 1 more lap to go. So this now the last lap. Our yellow beacon really starting to push. Looks like Kearney has gone on the front here. Phillips is chasing. Kearney has gone hard. What kind of gap has she got? She's got some distance. Remember, it's 1 lap of the course. Less than 1 lap to go. Now it's a 2.8k lap, so a strong rider could stay away here. Skinner is now responding to this. Skinner's at 3 seconds behind, 4 seconds behind with the yellow beacon. But you can just see Kearney has gone hard here. She's still holding 5.3 watts per kilo. She's into her last lap here, and the Aeonian rider pushes this downhill stretch, quickly turns into a draggy falls flat, running into the T junction. You can really feel these slight little rises, but the group are going to have her back here. And the chase has come behind Kearney, and it's Tracy Seeley, Terminator 2.0, who is doing the damage and has come over the top there. So now it's Tracy Seeley who has closed that gap down. Can anybody profit from that as they come through? Looks like it's Morris on the front at the moment in the purple of the Academy, but now moving up on to the front goes KG. Now the beacon goes up over the top over Phillips. Seeley on the wheel again. Now as the beacon really starts to open this up now, this really is about who's got any kind of attacking power left. This is going to be tough stuff now. Our beacon is holding at about 4 watts, just keeping the pace steady, not letting it drop too low even on this descent. They're just going to go past KG here, so just going past Karen, going past Louise Wainwright. Those riders could try jumping onto the back of the pack. Good luck, they'll speed this lot are going, and it's going to be really tough stuff as they come through. This is some going. So let's see who's going to go. Seeley, I think, is on her way up towards the front, but eases back off once again. Now Phillips and Morris going over the top now. When are they going to launch this attack? We've got the downhill drop down now. Time is starting to run out. We literally have 2 right-hand turns, and we're going to be lining up for the finish. They're going to be leaving this for the sprinters like Skinner if they're not careful, and that is a dangerous thing to do. Who has got the pace? Who's got the power? Who's going to get that lead out just right? Who's been saving their power-ups? Now, penultimate corner coming up, penultimate right-hand turn coming up. As they come around this bend here, they've got the short side of the circuit to do as they cut across now. So they're going to go across the end of the circuit, and it looks like they're in dangerous territory here as our beacon pushes on here, keeping the pace high. It's going to nullify some of the speed out of the pure sprinters here as Morris now comes onto the back wheel. So we're going to go past the run up to the bridge. We're going to take the right-hand turn, and we're on the run into the finish. Now, Kearney has had this sprint every time. She's the smart money, I think, at the moment, as we just see our beacon just starting to drop off the pace. Is she fluffing? Is this going to be a case that she's got some pace? She's going to roll in and through the bunch. It doesn't matter because it's all now about who's got the power, who's got the pace. This is the final run. Remember, they're on the way 230 metres to the line. The sprint has started, and it looks like it's Skinner who's gone early. Skinner's gone early. She's on the front. Has she got enough to hold on? It's going to be Millie Skinner on the front. She's going to want to repeat the win that she took on top of the Volcano, but you can see behind Phillips is coming quick. Now Maurice and Kearney come, but it is going to be Skinner followed by Phillips, followed by Maurice, and then Kearney, Adams go. Seeley and our yellow beacon in that order. That is seriously quick. There's no other word for it. That is a proper go if you've ever seen one, and well done to Millie. On the way through, we're going to just drop back a little bit. So next in over the line should be the run in. It is going to be Amy who's coming through. So Amy Young, our next rider coming through the line. A good riding there by Amy. So Amy in and underneath that finishing line. We're going to drop. Our next finisher should be Alison Kinlock. So Alison coming in through the finish. We're going to drop back then from Alison, who is behind. If we're skipping riders, that's because they're actually on another lap to go. So Alison Kinlock in and through the finish, and it does mean that Hawkins should be our next rider in to the finish. She's just ahead of Lee as well as Rourke. So Hawkins, Lee, then Rourke and Brooks, a group of 3 riders together. They should be the next 3 riders into the finish. Can Hawkins hold them off? They're 16 seconds behind this group of 3 riders. And these 3 know that time is running out. They should just about be able to see Hawkins in front, but 16 seconds is a big gap to pull down. Sarah Hawkins, great rider, and putting a good ride here today. That win being taken by Skinner, who got that time to perfection, went early on this run down in and through. Saw that green flashing beacon on the right-hand side and then kicked in hard. So Hawkins now 230 metres to go, and the finish as she comes in and underneath the gantry, underneath the archway here. It is going to be Hawkins, our next rider in. A great finish to the 2021 WOWDCGs, that's for sure, as Hawkins comes in underneath the gantry. Good riding by her. I think Rourke is opening up the sprint. She's leading this out at the moment, as you can just see coming in. It's going to be Rourke about to hit the line here. So Rourke going to come in to finish 8.5 watts per kilo. They'll be glad they didn't drag her to the line and managed to get rid of her early. Behind then it's going to be Joanne Lee coming through, followed by Karen Brooks. Great riding. You can see how soon Rourke's got off that power as they've come in underneath the gantry. Behind Julie Bratton should be our next rider heading in to the finish. So good riding here. Julie Bratton going to be in and through riding that Tron bike into the finish. She's going to come in just ahead of Taylor. Taylor's going to take that sprint. Oh, just holds off Morn, who is chasing hard. Then it's going to be Maz Heffron, the next rider in and through the finish. Great riding by all these riders to come in and through. Our red beacon out on the next lap, and you can see the legs of Morn, Bratton, Heffron and Co, as well as Taylor now definitely having taken a pasting on the way through. So Eve Roberts, I think, should be our next rider heading in towards the line. So it should be Roberts, our next rider in to the line. She's going to be followed in the riders just rolling the way in and round. Eve Roberts, our next finisher, though, on the chain gang. Just comes in and across past that turn up on to the skylights here on the chain gang. So behind, I think it'll be Karen G along with Lou Wainwright, and then potentially Emma Dooley and Julie Scales in that order as they come in towards the finish. Just going to keep a check as they go in towards the line, but Roberts will finish as she hits the line. Not far to go for Eve, and good to have Eve with us. A fast evening's ride here on the Donny Chang, the WOWDCG, part of the 12 DCGs of Christmas. Becky Porter James, the currently unconfirmed winner of those custom Oakleys. We'll get that confirmed when we watch the playback as Eve Roberts comes in and through. So these are our next two riders who are going to be heading into the finish. Who's going to have the power out of these two? Who's going to have the sprint? I'm not sure who I want to put my money on here. Both very quick finishers. Lou Wainwright, very competitive rider in the dark blue there of the training peaks, in the blue and the black, and then in the fluo kit here. And this is going to be Karen, who is on that Swift concept bike, the Tron bike. They come in over the green. Remember the line, the green banner now. GKG opens up. She's at 5.5 watts per kilo, 5.6. And the sprint is opened up to 7.8. Lou Wainwright trying to respond. She's now put 4.5 watts per kilo. But look at Karen go. She's got the power down. She's kicking hard in to the line. So it's Karen followed by Lou Wainwright in that order as they come through. Good riding there by the riders coming in and through the finish behind then. It's going to be Scales and Dooley are next to riders. I think Scales has got about 8 seconds on Dooley behind. So Scales will be our next rider heading in to the finish here. We will head back to our yellow beacon and have a chat with Emma shortly. We just don't want to miss anybody, particularly on this in the last of the Donny Changang's 2021. Julie Scales, one of our great riders on Donny Changang. Fantastic to have her in with us. And Julie, come on, final kick in for the line time, because that line's going to be coming up. It's in underneath the gantry here. Is Keith's LaGuardia loop playing home to the Christmas crit here on the WOWDCG as through goes Scales. Behind it is going to be, I think, Emma Dooley. Dooley's going to be our next rider who's going to come through the finish. So Emma Dooley on her way into that, finishing up bright yellow and black kit on the lightweight bike, and Emma's going to be our next finisher, just coming in to the finish here on the WOWDCG. Good riding by Emma. Which means we're going to run back potentially for our red beacon group. He says confidently, not at all. We've got quite a lot of riders just dropping in, but just running through my head who we haven't seen through the line, and I'm pretty sure that the only riders that are left to come in is going to be our red beacon group, who are here. It looks like I think they're going to have one more lap to go when they hit the line this time. They are, so 1 lap to go for our red beacon group as they hit the line this time. No pressure, Miss Cookie, but you've got 1 lap to go. I hate to break it to you, because we know Chloe Gagan's on 32.9. So heading out and around, they're heading off and around. So Gagan doing a great job as our beacon goes out at 33k, which means it's going to be 1 more lap to go for them. We're going to jump in and try and grab a word with our yellow beacon. Emma, are you there? Are you alive? Have you got any legs left?
Yeah, I'm good though. I'm a bit concerned that the red beacon group are offering me the mince pie they've dropped on the floor.
That's a bit mean. That's a bit harsh.
Isn't it?
They have been clearly on the tipples on the way round, because I think they thought that was the last time round, and the only one of them who hasn't had a dropout, I think, is actually Chloe Gagan. And Chloe's numbers are the key numbers. She's on 33.3, so that means she's still got 3/4 of a lap to go. So maybe the counting is suffering a little bit, running out of fingers, or maybe they've just seen too many or too few.
They were making me giggle so hard with their chat. I was too busy reading it to watch what I was doing in the front group.
Definitely, and really good ride to that, and that's a very quick finish.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it? The last couple of laps really wound it up, and a few efforts off the front, and that group kept coming back.
It did, and Kearney was putting some fearsome sprints and attacks in, but Millie Skinner, she's a proper racer. You could see she just wait. She wasn't bothering about those sprints. She knew what she wanted to do, and that was to take the win at the finish.
Yeah, I have to say, you watch Millie during the ride and you don't see her. She's a hidden rider in that pack. You really don't notice. Sorry, Millie, I don't mean to be rude. It's actually a compliment. You don't notice her for the whole ride. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, you start to see her. But you haven't seen her because she's tucked in the back of that pack the whole way round.
And it shows, doesn't it? The only point in time you need to actually be at the front is when you hit the finishing line. And that's what the smart riders do. They hide, don't use too much energy, and then put in the effort when they need it. Of course, our beacons are excused that because our red beacon doing the sweeping at the back and driving that bus, they have to go up and down, giving people on, keep check of everybody on there. That's absolutely key. And of course, being a yellow beacon, you're there to try and do a number of things simultaneously. The brief actually is quite long, and I have to say, amazing job done, because it's about animating the ride, getting that workout, getting the ride, getting the attack, getting the riding in, and some amazing riding done by the riders tonight, all the way through that group. And great to see some new faces as well as some of our regulars.
It was fabulous, wasn't it? It was brilliant to have the new riders with us. It was great to have our regulars as normal, and it's great to have returning riders, and hopefully we'll see them all next year.
Yeah, definitely. The more chance we have, the more to see our riders, the better it's got to be. So whether that's on the WOWDCG, the women's only Wednesdays, or on the Open Donny Chain Gang on the Tuesdays and the Thursdays. Now, we have got one more prize to give away in the 12 DCGs of Christmas. We've given away one pair of custom Oakleys tonight. That subject confirmation is to be Becky Porter-James, who's in this group in the grey of ruler. We are going to be giving away one more pair tomorrow to a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, the people who quite literally keep the show on the road and have done it since the start of the pandemic. And from that moment, once we started putting it together, it has literally been the support of the community out there that's made it happen. I've got to say, absolutely cracking to have that community behind the Donny Chain Gang. And when we introduced the women's rides, basically exactly a year ago today, because it was in between Christmas and New Year that we put them in for the very first time. It was the first women's special. We've never realised that it'd be so popular. I think everybody who supported the women's rides, and I've got to say a big thank you to the supporters like Ian at 1080, who's been making sure that there's been prizes going in for them as well, and we've been able to reward those riders and say thank you for coming and joining us on the Chain Gang.
That's it, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. And I can't believe you've just reminded me that this is the WOWDCG's first birthday today. I'm going to cake afterwards.
Indeed, I think the Red Beacon and gang down there can do another shot in celebration of it being a birthday. Because I'm not sure whether you have, but maybe we should go pop a bottle of champagne or something when we get finished here tonight, 1 year on. And it's going to be a finish here, and champagne popping for our Red Beacon, because coming in to the finish comes Gagan, our Red Beacon, doing an amazing job as they come through. Miss Cookie, one of our regulars, keeping us entertained on the way through. And of course, Becky Porter-James, a relatively new addition to the gang in comparison to the other two riders. But of course, as far as we know, our winner on the 12 DCGs of Christmas, subject to confirmation. That was from our commissaire team, who are going to be busy checking that footage tonight and playing it back just to make sure we've got the right rider. Now, we are going to let our riders sort of warm down, including our amazing red beacon. A massive thank you to all of our red beacons on the WOWDCG so far this year. We've got loads more coming up. And please, guys, make sure you get onto the Facebook page, which is the Donny Chain Gang Facebook page. And, of course, make sure if you want the inside track on where we're going, how far we're going, discounts on all sorts of great gear that will keep you pedaling quicker, looking better, and obviously, of course, keeping caffeinated with the best coffee in the business. Please make sure, guys, that you join the DCG gang. Your support is absolutely invaluable. It's the only way that we raise any financial revenue out of the chain gang. That is key to keeping it rolling. You don't want to know. I think this particular keyboard is keyboard number 7 this year. Lucky number 7. It's lasted pretty much longer than anyone else. So, Emma, time for you to jump off the bike. Thank you very much for leading the WOWDCG this year. Hopefully we'll see you at the front of affairs next year.
Looking forward to it, Matt.
So as Emma finishes her warm down, gets herself sorted, our riders coming in and through the finish, it just remains for me to say thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Down in Cycling YouTube channel, and that means that we are able to make sure that we keep on bringing you the videos out on YouTube. Have a watch back. If you haven't ridden before, then make sure you get on and get a ride in. You can pick up all the links on the Facebook page and the donnychaingang.co.uk website. I'm going to go off one more to put words to the action to tomorrow, and that is going to be the Road to the Sky. Biggest climb we do. Big ascent, all on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel here on the Donny Chain Gang.